cruise and it's a cheaper cruise, mostly everybody will get off. If it's an expensive cruise and a port that's like Nassau or one of these St. Thomas, that Eastern Caribbean run, a lot of them are so well traveled they don't want to go back, which is always sad in my eyes because they've never really done it all. Not at all. They've never done it all. Some
of the California cruises a few years ago, parts of Baja, Mexico got a little bit too dangerous, so they added Santa Barbara on their cruise, on their itinerary. And a lot of people are like, I'm getting off a boat where I've already paid for the food to go into Santa Barbara to have lunch where I have to pay for food. And a lot of, they wouldn't get the traffic from the boat that they stopped.
Yeah, that I could see. I mean, that's a kind of a unique situation, but yeah, I could see that. I always,
do you advise people to do that? Go absorb as much as you can, or you're like, it'll just wear you out?
No, I always advise go. But try to get off the beaten path. I guess it depends on what kind of traveler you are. I mean, not all of the people on cruise ships, especially, they're not that as active as the average bear, or maybe they are the average bear. I'm not really sure, but I would say more people that have not super active cruise.
How much time does it take to get up? How is the customs getting on, getting off?
But that's fine. They're usually pretty great about that.
Are they?
Yeah.
Because that's the difference. You brought up Nassau before. Pre 9/11, you used to be able to go to the Bahamas with a driver's license. You'd land, and it was no different from anywhere else. The hour on either side of it has really made it hard to go to Nassau for 2 days if you're flying, or 3 days. It's a lot of because then you get to the airport and then you got to get your hotel. When I lived in New York, you used to be able to go down in the morning and come back at night. You just go in the middle of the winter. You're like, let's go to the Bahamas for the day, and it was so fast. And the customs situation and the
lines, I understand. So to that point, it's another good point. These are all depends on the departure, depends on how many ships are in port at the time. It depends on how popular the port is. So right now, because everything is half full, there's no issues at all. But I would say, I can remember the last couple times, Santorini in Greece, OMG. I'm you have got to put a stop on how many ships at a time because it's, have you been to Santorini?
I have not.
Oh, you really did need to go.
I want to do a Turkey, Greece, Croatia swing.
Yeah, for sure. I understand. You want to do that with travelfund.biz.
Yes, I do. Is that an offering?
Absolutely.
I want to great love to boat.
So that particular port, just so you can picture it, it's it's where God vacations, I believe. I truly believe he made this his vacation home. This area, Santorini in Greece, where all the ships are tendered, so they don't have an actual dock there because of the way the gorge is. And then it's a huge, incredible mountainous white and blue beauty, but yet to get up there, it's still donkeys, literally.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and one gondola. One gondola that takes 4 people or 5 people at a time. And it's seriously, dude, there's 30,000 people here. It's this is not going to work. So it is really that is really congested, but because everybody wants to get off at Santorini, ain't nobody staying on the boat.
Right.
So it's very packed. Another one not so bad, Aruba. Aruba is a great little port in the Caribbean, and people really love it. And because of that, people come back. They try to come back all at the last minute, So places, certain ships like Virgin Voyages now and we work with them a lot, are trying to change that by staying in port longer and getting there earlier. And it's expensive. A boat won't
wait, right?
No, it will not wait for you. No, you will miss the boat if you don't get there on time. But it's expensive because you're paying port fees, right? So the ships try to squeeze everything out. And they go back early because they don't want to pay.
How many people miss the boat?
Oh, it's on average. Depends where we are. Cozumel, the most I ever lost was 4 single sailors.
Do they go to the next port or they got to go home?
That's an interesting story.
Their stuff's on the boat.
Yeah, so they call me, because I'm the group leader for the group, and then I have to go grab their passports and bring it to the port agent. And usually it's always the same story. They're in Cozumel at a bar, and the hour change is different. So the ship time versus Mexico time.
Oh.
And they just drink too much and
get
forget.
Told that, right?
Yeah, for sure. But it is a little bit, it is something you really got to think about.
That's true.
And nowadays with the cell phones rather than your watch, sometimes these change different, it's a little
point too.
I always have a watch on, an analog watch. Anyway, so funny story though, because we were going to Belize next, and is it Belize? maybe I'm getting that wrong, but anyway, it was a land port. So they ended up taking they had their passports with the port agent. We sent them over to immigration at the next place. They took a van. They didn't have money. They had credit cards. They had, a couple bucks. They were trying to really shiced them, and they told them it was going to be $500 cash only at the border. They had to give the immigration officials cash only. They're we don't have $500 cash. They kept them there overnight in a van, and almost said that they would have missed the ship had they not started going yet, right? So they said, okay, well, we'll pay you, but when we get to the ship, we'll go to the ATM. And so they did. They got to the ship, and I happened to see them. I passed them on board. They called me when security called me when they got back on board, and we were just about to leave again. And they said we had to go back out to give them money. I'm like, what are you talking about? They're like, they have our passport information. I'm like, these people are shysters. Just stay on the boat. You're fine.
Legal kidnapping.
Yeah, they went and they gave them their $500.
That's a rare occurrence that won't happen
that never happens.
Travel.
That never. It's you're not going to have it happen with me because I don't let anyone do that anymore.
Have you Panama Canaled?
Yes, many times.
What is that like?
Boring.
Oh, it is? Oh, so 30 seconds, you're like, okay, I got this.
The whole idea of Panama Canal and the background on it is really exciting, actually. It's interesting. It's interesting to see what they went through, the history on it, but you can watch that on a documentary. To go through it I still to this day can't understand the ooh and ah. Listen, a lot of people love it. You asked me what I thought. Okay.
Question, answer. Have you cruised in New York City?
Yes.
It's cool, like Statue of Liberty.
Yeah, that part is cool.
Yeah, that is cool. You do kind of feel a little Ellis Island-y.
Yeah, that is pretty neat.
What is a place where you're a cruise that you've been on where you're pulling in, you're like, either we're not going to fit, or where are we, or what
Panama Canal, surely.
Oh, Panama Canal.
Seriously, that part is cool. You're 4 inches on either side.
So they really got, or is it they towed? Tug it in?
Yeah, it's tugged in. And the water changes and stuff. But again, it's not exciting. And depending upon where you're at, it's
Have you been on a boat that sort of just broke down, or that doesn't happen?
The only one that I know of, we had a group on. I was not. One of my staff members was on there, and it was the California ship to nowhere where they left him out at sea for a while.
Oh,
I don't know if you heard about that. It was many years ago. There's a fire on board. Nobody got hurt, but
there's a lot of those cruises. They used to have the cruise to nowheres out of New York because they wanted you to gamble.
Yeah,
so they go out 3 miles and you could gamble on the boat.
Yeah, this is turning into a not approach cruise ship.
No, it's a good cruise ship. The best, is there one? I know you have your alliances and stuff. Is there a boat or a cruise that you're like, it stands, if you have the means, this is the one?
Oh, I have so many of these. Okay, so one of the things,
picking a favorite child.
Kind of. I have a few things that I think are favorites. I like cruising in general. I just think it's a really cool way to travel, and I love the entertainment aspect of things, and I love the fact that you don't have to drive, and I just love all that. But things that I think are special, river cruising out in Europe is super.
It's hot.
Yeah, it's super underrated. It is not just for old folks, and I like old folks, by the way. I'm friends with a lot of older people. But I would say it kind of has this rap of being like a retirement home almost, and I don't know why that is, because it's perfect for the active older traveler that appreciates culture but just wants to hop on and hop off in Europe, and you stay all night. They're there all the time. It's amazing. It's like having your own luxury yacht. It's just a fantastic way to travel. We have a couple of river cruises coming up as well. And then I would say I like luxury. I really do. Not stuffy luxury, but I do like luxury.
And the luxury means they've got all the spa treatments and stuff on the boat?
That's never really been my game. But no, good food. I like, if the cheaper the cruise, the less quality food you get.
It's like a casino.
Naturally, yeah.
It's like Vegas.
Yeah.
You're going to get better food at the Wynn than you are at Pal Station. No offense to Pal Station.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't like, I'm not a foodie, but I don't like to eat things that aren't delicious.
Are there, have you done the Alaska cruise thing?
I spent 6 months in Alaska.
Cruising or working on Deadliest Catch?
Cruising.
Okay. Now, this might be wrong and this might be a stereotype. I feel like the people that are going on an Alaska cruise are less likely to be drunk all the time than the people who are going to Cozumel.
Yeah,
Is that
absolutely.
fair?
That's totally true. Yeah.
Okay.
There's more LL Bean people, we call them. The LL Bean
LL
crew.
Bean people.
It became
People who really want to look and take pictures at stuff and not just put the lei on and
Right.
hot conga line.
Exactly. And plus it's just colder usually, so that just kind of gives to more like hiking feel rather than drinking.
Right.
You know, and it's not as fun to be drunk in the cold because you might die.
It's not. So you can basically, there's a big net to cast for singles cruises, but you can then sort of, who are the people I'm looking to meet based on a lot of factors: destination, cost, activity, boat length, all
Gosh,
these
there are
things.
so many factors.
A lot of variables.
Yeah, there
and that's
really
why
are.
they come to you, because you can break that down.
For sure. That was the other one I wanted to mention. I like the Windstar. It's like kind of like sailing vessels and like power yachts. I'm getting into the Ritz-Carlton power yachts.
Fancy.
Yeah.
Can you get married on a boat?
Of course.
Like quickly, like we just met, let's do it like Vegas style? You can do that?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, it's not quite as quick as Vegas. You got to make some arrangements on board.
But it's arranged because there's no jurisdiction. Or is it the port of call?
They do it in the port of call, but the captain can do it. You can have it hired.
Oh, yeah, I guess you can.
Yeah, but the cheapest way is to have it done in the port of call on the boat. And then usually they do it in embarkation day so that everybody can be there even if they're not going on the cruise.
Are cruise weddings popular? Like the whole wedding part, everybody's on the cruise? Is that a thing?
Yeah, I would say, I don't know about popular. I would say it happens once or twice a cruise, usually.
Once or twice a cruise, somebody's getting married?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so kind of. But I mean, there's usually 4,000 or 5,000 people on a cruise now.
I get it. That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
So again, I brought up that 1,000-person thing. You're actually 4 times that if you want. And you're going to be near them if you want. So you have to go on a cruise. You have to be active. You have to be hopeful. You have to be engaged with people around you. You have to not get too drunk too quick, just like anything else.
Actually, that's not true. I've seen a lot of people get too drunk too quick and still make it out with somebody.
I'm just saying, I guess that's got as good a chance to work as anything else. That's true. We got drunk. If you got drunk together on the first night, you're still together on the third night.
Yeah.
Mazel tov.
Yeah, mazel tov. Exactly. No, there's one thing that's funny about a cruise ship is like when you get on board, because these are the only people that you have to choose from, you just start to get deeper. Like there's less of this superficialness of they're not checking the boxes. There's more of a getting to know people, and also getting to know people you wouldn't normally get to know, which I think is so cool.
Yeah.
Because kind of, I think as humans, we sort of get into this, we stay with our like tribe, who you're vibing with. But when you're on a ship, you're like, oh crap, I better try to vibe with these folks. They're the ones here.
Yeah.
And so you start to meet people that you would never really give the time of day to. At least that's what I witnessed. I'm one of these very inclusive people. But most people are not. They like to stick with their own.
And now I'm going to probably get in trouble. I'm racially stereotyping here. I feel like if you find a group of Scandinavian people, they're always going to be more friendly and engaged and fun. No matter where you go, it's like, where are you from, Norway? And they're going to stay up talking to you, and somebody's going to have a guitar.
Oh,
Find
I love
those
that.
people.
I don't think I found any Scandinavian
You need to find
groups on board.
Scandinavians. They're just fun people. And that's pro-Scandinavian. So
Yeah,
I don't want to
exactly.
hear your emails about that.
Right?
Here's what I think about travel in general and dating in general. It's all quarter the same. We're throwing it in the big pot here. We've been stepping on a hose for a year and a half or 2 years.
Wow. That's a
And
good
we are
visual.
basically letting it go. There's a backlog. So people had time to sit home and flip around online and say, I want to go to Santorini. I want to go to Malta, which I never heard of until we hit #1 in the podcast charts there. Now I'm like, Malta, I'm coming.
That's the biggest retirement place, like #1 on the retirement
I didn't know.
place.
Now I'm very promo and love you all my Malta fans
Yeah.
there. So people have been dreaming and thinking and sometimes saving, and it's like now I think the coast is clearing. That 2022, 2020, plan your trips, and if you don't know where or what, that's where Shelby comes in.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, I would love to answer any of your questions. I'm mostly on Facebook, on Shelby Frenette or Solo Travel Expert.
All right, plug all your stuff and where they can find it. Give the website again.
Oh, www.travelfun.biz, where your fun is our biz.
Oh, that's pretty good. I like that. Your fun is our biz. By the time this show drops, Shelby will have already been on our Great Love Debate stage. For a live show.
I'm excited and equally nervous.
It's always fun. You never know what we're going to get.
I know, that's why I'm nervous.
Well, you've performed.
I have, but usually it's I know what I'm doing. You're very off the cuff, and that makes me nervous.
Well, I think being off the cuff means there's no right or wrong. There's no script. So I'm not forgetting any line. I can just say whatever and do whatever, and you react to it, people around you.
Yeah, I think that's really brilliant if you're very quick